Hello, Hujambo, Bwakeye, Salam. I'm Thembekile Mrototo, and this is Unwrap Africa. Siyakhakha. Our question to you tonight, do you think Mamelodi Sundowns will be able to raise the African flag at the Club World Cup? They've already arrived in the United States. Let us know your thoughts on voice note. Find the WhatsApp number 078-459-1897. We're also on Facebook at SABC Unwrap Africa and on X at SABC News_TV. We'll take those thoughts later. First, let's have a look at this week's Continental Wrap, the stories that have made headlines from across the continent. And we start in South Africa, where officials have buried the bodies of 30 illegal miners in the northwest after authorities said no family members had come forward to claim them. Kenyan authorities have now arrested a police constable in connection with the death in custody of political blogger Albert Ojwang. This as angry protests over the case raged in the capital, Nairobi. Togo's President Faure Nasibe is facing growing pressure following the clampdown on protests related to recent changes to the country's constitution that could keep him in power indefinitely. British-Nigerian filmmaker Akinola Davies Jr. has made history at the 2025 Cannes Film Festival, where his debut feature, My Father's Shadow, was selected for the festival lineup. And Senegalese bassist Alune Wade's performance was one of the standout moments at the 2025 St. Louis Jazz Festival, where he set the main stage alight with his energy and signature sound. So as Mamelodi Sundowns prepare for their opening FIFA Club World Cup fixture against the South Korean team Ulsan FC on Tuesday, 3 former players have been in New York for a marketing and promotion tour in support of the team's effort. Part of their visit included a tour of the headquarters of Rock Nation Sports International. It's a Sundowns multimedia consultancy partner that forms part of the entertainment company founded by American businessman and rapper Jay-Z. It was at the Rock Nation headquarters in Manhattan where US correspondent Sherwin Bryce Pease was able to catch up with Sundowns legends Teko Modise, Hlompo Kekana and Diani Sugar Mabunda.
In conversation with 3 Mamelodi Sundowns legends ahead of the team's campaign in the FIFA Club World Cup. That is, of course, being hosted here in the United States. And my first Sundowns legend is Teko Modise. Teko, welcome to New York. A big moment for the team after a very long season, a CAF campaign, winning their 8th Premiership title. Talk about the fatigue and what is expected of them moving forward.
I mean, the fatigue, of course, is something that we have to put in mind, that the season has been that long. And also, you know, the sadness as well of coming from a CAF Champions League and losing that and coming to FIFA World Cup. Of course, it's mentally challenging for the players, but as well that we're expecting the professionalism from them, knowing and understanding how important this competition is for the team, and just hoping that within that as well, you know, maybe there might be some moments that will energize the team to actually start performing as well, because there are expectations for them to perform. Of course, you got a good squad of team. Players that are very capable of actually showcasing and be able to compete in this tournament. So we're looking forward to it.
What does it take to win a competition of this nature, right? Sundowns is legendary in the region and the continent. It's a CAF champion. It has won 8 successive Premier League titles in South Africa. This is a star-studded team by any measurement. But now they're playing in the bigger leagues on a global stage. What changes in their approach in the weeks ahead?
I think the mindset should change and try to approach this competition, you know, knowing very well that's a big stage and they're meeting, you know, one would say the biggest teams in the world. You'd want them to give performances that will put them in the position, you know, to go to the knockout stages.
Right here in New York, indeed, dreams are made. This is a place where dreams are made of, and the score prediction for Mamelodi Sundowns, for me, definitely, I see us getting out of the group. I've got so much faith and belief that the new and expanded kind of a FIFA Club World Cup gives each team the opportunity to also build up momentum.
I'd love to see them in the quarterfinal. I would love to see them, playing other big teams in the world, simply because of the brand of football that they've shown over the years. The young players that just joined the team, I'd love to see them, having that exposure into the big world. And I do believe that the sky is the limit for them if they continue playing the way that we saw them playing back home. So I'm hoping that they will reach the continental.
Each game has come, but also the important thing is like for the players as well to understand as to then the importance of this tournament, because not everybody that plays in Mamelodi Sundowns are actually part of the national team. So also like you have to compare yourself with the best players in the world to see actually then how far are you, what are the things that you need to improve, and from an individual perspective and also from a club perspective.
The quality that we have at Mamelodi Sundowns and the talent and the drive that the club has, and we see ourselves getting out of the group, but it's not going to be easy because the first game is what is important to build that momentum, and it's not an easy team. Also, they're also quite a great team as well as every other team in the competition. So, but Mamelodi Sundowns also there is amongst those, and it's a force to be reckoned, and we're looking forward to greater things.
Thank you for taking time to talk with us. Thanks very much. Tiani, Sugar, Mabunda, part of the Sundowns legends that are here to support the amazing team that will be competing in this year's FIFA Club World Cup here in the United States.
And we've been asking you tonight whether you think Mamelodi Sundowns will be able to raise the African flag at the Club World Cup. Some of your comments have already come in. Let's have a look at what you've been saying. Mr. Mole says Mamelodi Sundowns FC is already raising the South African flag just by being in the World Cup. Matwa says they will be raising South Africa's flag. And Wasomi Wanyika says there are some African clubs there too. The onus is on the shoulders of all of them. For SADC football and precisely South African football, the burden is on Sundowns. Well, speaking of sport, it's been an exciting 24 hours of celebration, especially for South Africans. Hearty congratulations to the Proteas national cricket team. They've won their first ever ICC World Test Championship title. They beat Australia at Lord's in London on Saturday. All that excitement is enough to make you thirsty. And, well, Teff Ethiopian Cuisine in Joburg gives us a taste of their captivating beauty of Ethiopia, from coffee to music.
How are you? Welcome to Teff Ethiopia. How are you? Welcome, Beza. Yeah, this is our Ethiopian coffee ceremony day. So everything, as you can see, there is our coffee come from Ethiopia. You know, the first coffee come from Ethiopia. Also have Arabica. I'm going to serve you. So normally we don't sit when we serve the coffee.
I'm really Ethiopia, the aroma you were talking about.
This is our tradition homemade wine, like we call it Dej, that's made with pure honey, and we add turmeric for the color, and there's a leaf that we call it, it's sour leaf, but we call it geisho, so which is that we use it to be fermented. This is our glass, a Dej glass, so we call it brille. So this is how we're going to serve you. Push your 3 fingers to your mouth. How is it?
How good
it is.
The most famous doro wet, there's kai wet and there's alicha doro. Then we have our shiro. Then we have our misir gas. And then our potato and alicha. Siga wet. You guys are gonna enjoy.
I think I could pull off that dance with a few rehearsals. When we come back, we talk to the man in charge of Billboard Africa. Stay with us. This is Unwrap Africa. Welcome back. And tonight we're talking about a major moment for the continent's music industry. I'm talking about the launch of Billboard Africa. And joining us is the man at the forefront of the groundbreaking platform, Nkosiyati Khumalo, Editor-in-Chief of Billboard Africa, otherwise known as a seasoned media executive. He was also editor at GQ South Africa, also a key player at Apple Music. Sir, welcome to Unwrap Africa. An exciting time for you from the launch in London recently of Billboard Africa. What does it mean for the continent?
It's such an important moment for the Billboard brand globally, but especially for Africa. And I think it's important that it's continuing to tell the story of what's already happening across the continent in African music. It's a great way to celebrate, to help grow the African music ecosystem. And I think what's special about that is that we have the chance to do this independently and to kind of level the playing field. You know, no one country is above another, but collective action really helps us grow the ecosystem, both at home on the continent and abroad.
And what a lot of artists are looking at now, especially in the post-CD and cassette era, is a set of platforms, if you can call it that, that offer a sustainable living off their art. Where does Billboard see itself in the space when you consider that Africa sometimes lags behind in terms of infrastructure, etc.?
So we want to be positioned as a partner. It's not just a media brand, it's a partner in the ecosystem. If we can create more opportunities for artists to shine, to perform, to have their music heard even further abroad, that's fantastic. I think it's also important to create opportunities for artists to perform here. And we see this across kind of creative industries where people struggle sometimes to get their music heard, their work seen further abroad. There are people who deal with visa challenges, things like that. So if we can create even more opportunities at home for them to perform, for them to commercialize their work, that's fantastic. That's a small part that we can play.
And there are many stages, right, in Africa. It's a continent of more than 50 countries. A great deal of diversity in terms of sound and thousands of artists. Afrobeats comes to mind, Amapiano, where South Africa is concerned, comes to mind. So when you look at that diversity, where does Billboard even begin to sort of make its first incision and tell that story of a continent that is so diverse in its offering?
Yeah. So personally for me, I've been so fortunate to be able to work across the continent with writers, creatives, photographers, people who tell their stories authentically. And that's an important thing. I'm a facilitator in that process, but I want to tell that story from the ground up. You know, so I want to work with people in Nigeria, in Kenya, in Ghana, across the continent to tell their stories authentically. I can't do that from here, but they can do it, and we can partner with them to tell the stories of their culture, their heritage, their contemporary struggles and triumphs through their music. So that's just one way we do it. I think the diversity of sound is so special, but I think also what's exciting is what lies in common between those sounds. You know, Ghanaian high life music and South African jazz share so much in common. There's a warmth to both of them that I just love. That's so special to realize. And I think you also see it when artists collaborate, both within their own countries, across genres, and across the continent. I think of Davido from Nigeria, who performs a lot and collaborates and records a lot with South African artists. He loves South Africa. He comes here all the time.
Yemi Alade, I'm thinking of Mafigi Zolo.
Yes, exactly.
And how they've had a boom on the continent. Black Coffee, an international success, who really now is more of a global brand, but still uniquely African, right?
Yeah, there's such a warmth in that. There's such an invitation to share everything, share cultures, and share what makes us unique, but also special. And there's a unity in that specialness and that collaboration.
Tyler?
Exactly.
So when you say Tyler, everyone in Billboard perks up, right? And do you think that's made it easy? The growing number of Africans who've been able to sort of break that glass ceiling and truly become international?
I think it definitely has. I think in some ways it's also about the authenticity. You know, it's not someone representing a kind of stereotype or an outdated image or version of Africa, South Africa, whatever country. It's each artist living in their authenticity. They exist at these hybrids of sounds, of cultures. We remix things all the time. And that's what these artists have been able to do. They've also been able to invite global players in, you know, Rema and Selena Gomez, as an example, Fireboy DML and Ed Sheeran. These are collaborations that are just so fantastic and they're organic. They happen just because, as the kids say, the vibes are immaculate and everybody wants to get involved.
And Africans have always listen to each other's music, right? I'm thinking growing up in the Free State in South Africa, how Salif Keita was a common name.
Yeah.
Kajanine was a common name. The rest of the continent adored Miriam Makeba, Brenda Fassie, Hugh Masigela.
Yeah.
So there's always been that link.
Completely. And it's so exciting. I think now with the help of DSPs and digital platforms that really help get these stories out there as well, we can share more of that with the world. We can exchange with each other in ways that maybe were a little bit more difficult before, but now are as easy as picking up your smartphone, and that's fantastic.
And for you then personally, give us a glimpse, a peek into your African story, your journey, especially in the publishing space, and why the move to Billboard Africa right now is the best one.
So for me, I'll start with the personal first. I'm a son of Eswatini. I was born there. My mother was Swati. My dad was Zulu from Benoni. But I was raised in the US. And I think for me, having moved back about 17 years ago now, it's been important to, and a great privilege to be able to tell the story of the Africa that we know. Not the story that you see in stereotypes or on Animal Planet or on the news. And these are very important stories to tell. But there's the other side of Africa that maybe doesn't get as publicized as much internationally. The creativity, the ambition, the innovation, the business acumen, that's fantastic. So I think I've been very fortunate to be able to tell that story, to promote African talent on global stages through my work at GQ, through my work at Apple Music and telling the kind of musical story. And that just continues for me now, Billboard Africa. It's really a passion of mine to do that and to be able to explore stories that are already happening. You know, I'm not inventing anything. My job is to polish and help people see themselves in it and help people see that story on a wider stage.
So adding rather than changing to what's already out there. And as you begin this journey then, there will be, I would imagine, a lot of record companies, artists, producers, writers who will be naturally reaching out. If you could give them advice, a word for the years ahead, what would it be?
I think keep walking in your authenticity. That's your superpower. No one else can sound like you. No one else around the world knows your story and can tell it the way you can, in your language, in your spirit, with your energy. Keep that up and the world will come to you.
Nkosiyati Khumalo, good to talk to you. Thank you so much for being on Unwrap Africa today. That was the man in charge of Billboard Africa, Nkosiyati Khumalo. Stay tuned for more stories right here on Unwrap Africa. Thanks for staying with us. We've been asking for your thoughts on how you think Mamelodi Sundowns will do at the Club World Cup in the US. They're going to play their first match against the South Korean side on Tuesday. Will they be able to raise the African flag, do you think? Let's look at more of your comments. One here says that up Masandawana, up, the sky is your limit. Sihayo says, tough luck for Mamelodi Sundowns for raising the so-called SA flag, the same country with SABC and its government sports minister who don't bother to make those matches televised so that South Africans can be able to watch and rally behind Mamelodi Sundowns when they play at the Club World Cup. So those are your thoughts. We'll all be cheering and rooting for Mamelodi Sundowns when they play that match on Tuesday. Brenda Mtambo is our guest in a moment. She is going to dazzle audiences with her highly anticipated return to the stage, bringing a signature vocal power that she's become known for, as well as emotional depth to her performances, which are always captivating. So she says that people can expect a genre blend in the performance that will weave together African soul, jazz, R&B, as well as contemporary sounds that showcase her artistic growth and versatility. Well, as promised, our musical guest on this week's edition of Unwrap Africa is none other than Brenda Mtambo. She's done it all: jazz, gospel, contemporary music. Brenda is right at the forefront when you list South African performers. Welcome to Unwrap Africa.
Thank
you know, when I heard that you were coming on today, my mind went back to Say More, Enjoy Celebration.
Oh my God.
And then all the way now.
Yeah.
And I was reading that you're taking a bit of a break, but now you're back. Why did you take the break?
I think life forced me to take a break. I think I went through like a very dark time.
And then I needed that year to just breathe. But in that year, I did not really take a break. I won a summer award in the same year that I was taking a break.
As a winner does,
I
right?
won another Masali Music Award in that time when I took a break. But I feel like life forced me to take a break. I needed to pause a little bit and gather myself, and now I'm back.
And you're back in a big way. You've got an upcoming show in about 2 weeks, I think?
Yes, on the 27th.
Yes. What have you put into that performance?
Oh my goodness, I call it the revival. Because I feel like I'm so rejuvenated, my spirit is in a good place. I'm in a very, very good place that I feel so revived. So I want to push that into my people and bring everyone up. If you've been feeling down, if you've been depressed like I was depressed, I want to give you hope. I want to give you, I want you to feel the light and see the light during the show. So I have a 13-piece band.
Wow.
Coming on stage with me. We have horn section. We have a big band coming on the 27th at Soweto Theatre. It's going to be a really, really amazing show.
And how would you describe your evolution, Brenda, in terms of sound and where you are now? I remember when your first album came out about a decade ago, your first solo, and you've just kept going. How has it evolved? And how does that influence then what you do on stage on the 27th?
I think I've grown so much as a person, as an individual. So I've implemented that into my music. I think I've changed in terms of my image and my look, because everything is evolving. So I want to get on with time and evolve as an artist. So music-wise, I feel like I'm working with very young musicians because they bring that young and vibiness into the music, but also I also maintain who I am and being authentic to be who Brenda is. But I feel like with everything merging together, then the sound has evolved, everything has changed, and people do feel that during the shows.
And will any of these young people be on stage with you on the 27th?
Yes, I'm playing with my young guys. Yeah, they're all on stage with me on the 27th.
Mrs. Brenda.
Yes, they call me Mrs. Brenda, you're right.
Where's the show happening, Brenda, so we can catch you?
It's happening at Soweto Theatre on the 27th of June, 7 p.m. Tickets are available at Web Tickets. People can find them there. Web Ticket, 27th June at Soweto Theatre.
We will see you in Soweto on the 27th. The incredible Brenda Mtambo. Thank you so much for watching Unwrap Africa. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.